It is the little things in life that matter, more so when they include making a difference in the lives of those around us. Meet Mr. Praveen, a businessman and philanthropist who has taken the initiative to feed the less fortunate children in society.
My name is Praveen Chauhan. I am born and brought up here in Nairobi, Kenya. I have a family and two boys who are 11 years old and slowly coming to 12, and they are twins. And yes, my family and for myself, we stay here in Nairobi. And in terms of profession, I am a civil engineer by profession, and I work with a company called David Engineering Kenya Limited. We are part of Tononoka Steel, which is a group company, and we basically do steel fabrication work.
Praveen has focused more on the slum areas, where he identified a number of reliable persons on ground to make the program a success.
Today it is here to tell you about my journey into how I have been helping the slum children with feeding programs. And the feeding program that I started is now almost about 6 years old. We initially started in Diamond Plaza. Near Diamond Plaza, we used to feed about 150 children from the deep sea slums. I wanted to help someone whereby I did not expect a thank you from them. I don't want any appreciation. Just the very fact that I've played my part and I have helped them. The biggest challenge we have are street children coming at your car, knocking on the window, asking for something. So this happens is that, you know, when these children come and they want something, now the biggest challenge or the first and foremost challenge that they have, why they do that, is because they don't have food. When you find someone coming at your car, the first thing they will ask you is, give me 10 shillings for food. And why? Because they are hungry. So what would happen is that these are the children who are moving around. Unfortunately, we have issues whereby they would come and tell us, of course we have the problems whereby somebody would snatch from the window and things like that, but yes, that is a problem. But on the other hand, you ask yourself, why are they doing that? Because at the end of the day, they want something in their stomach, and being hungry, they would be forced to steal and things like that.
Praveen has also other projects underway that will be beneficial to society.
So what I decided was, why don't we have a program of feeding? And that's how 6 years ago I started feeding every Thursday near Diamond Plaza, 150 children from the deep sea slums. Now we had started off with about 50 children, whereby we used to give them a hot meal. One of the donors would give us a hot meal, and then another one would give us a banana or an apple, and we would give those 50 children. But after some time, when they started realizing food is being brought here, more people started coming in, so I had to reach out to more donors. So for almost a period of 3-4 years, we would get donors who would give us bananas, apples, mandazis. One would give us a hot meal, and everything from 100 to about 150 kids we were feeding. And this really used to help them, because they did not have food, and you'd find the same children here near High Ridge in Parklands, and now they started going down because they were getting food. But after that, 2 years ago, COVID came, and the government announced that there should be no gatherings, and this really struck because we couldn't feed them, and so everything came to a standstill. And after that, what we did was, for a couple of months, the first case, as you know, came in March, and we were like, we need to stop now, we can't do much. So we stopped in High Ridge, and then from there we stopped completely. A month or two later, some of my friends in the slum areas told me that, Praveen, now things are getting tough because people are being laid off. People don't have jobs now. Slum areas are having a lot of problems. Is there any way we can assist? So that's when the idea came into my mind that why don't I go and feed deep inside the slums. And so I started talking to a few of my friends, and I said, this is the idea I have, and would you be able to assist? So slowly by slowly I got friends who said, yes, we can give you the ration, but then you'll see how to cook and take it to the slum. So first we had the challenge, of course, that where will we cook and what will we do. So what we did was we started off for 1 or 2 months by giving ration packs. So we would give 1 kilo of beans, 1 kilo of rice, a kilo of sugar, tea leaves, and make a small pack and give it to the disabled families in Huruma or in Korogosho, like that. But then what happens is that that ration pack would last them maybe at the most 2 weeks. Then what happens after that? So we again came to the drawing board. I started asking my friends how more you are able to help. And this is when the idea came in that what if we do an actual hot meal feeding program. So we started looking at the logistics and seeing how that would be possible. So we went to a couple of donors. So again the donors said, look, we will give you the ration, you need to find a place to cook. So I approached some of my friends. So the temple in South Sea, the Gurudwara, one of my friends is a committee member over there. I asked him if he could help, and he was very kind enough to say, why don't you do the cooking over here? So at least it's done in a hygienic place, and that's how we started off. And what happened thereafter was we started with feeding about 250 children in Kibera slums. So I have a friend called Ibrahim. He did the groundwork. So we found a place near the MOC, and we went and gathered a few children in that slum area, and we told them that we will bring you the hot meal. So we started off with beans and rice, and every Friday we would cook for about 700 children. So in Kibera we started first with about 300. At the moment we are close to about 900 children in Kibera.
Naitwa Ibrahim, naishi Kibera na nafanya kazi na Praveen. Nimemjua Praveen for some time, tangu 2017 I think up now. Kulikuwa na watoto ambao ni machokora, akanihusisha kwa hiyo shughuli, nikakuwa very passionate about kusaidia. That sikujua alitoa pia food, but I came in to support.
And as the months progressed, we had another friend called Oscar. He was in Mukuru kwa Jenga behind pipeline. When he saw me posting this on the social media, he said that he would wish to be part of it. And so we started in Mukuru kwa Jenga, where again we started with about 200 children. At the moment we are feeding in Mukuru kwa Jenga. Every Wednesday we give them a cup of uji. Every Thursday we give them a hot meal, and every Saturday we give them a hot meal. So on this is every day we are feeding roughly about on these 3 days rather, we are feeding about 800 to 900 children.
My name's Oscar Odera. I'm based in Nairobi, and my relationship with Praveen is basically humanitarian point of it. We have been close for almost 3 years, and we have been reaching out to the people, to the vulnerable needy people before even COVID came in. We are already on the track. We do feeding programs, mostly in the slums, like in Mukuru, where I represent. Feeding program is actually helping a lot of children, and we are urging anybody who can will to come and support, to join hands together. We reach out to more children in that feeding program. Me, I was recommended to him by a friend of mine, and then from there we started the feeding program. but I can describe him as a philanthropist, a real philanthropist who reach out to the children, who reach out to the community, and he has an aim of reaching out to more people.
So again, when I was posting this on my social media, a few other donors came up and said, since you see what happens is so many of the people would want to give something, but they don't know where to give. And the biggest challenge is even if they give, they don't know whether it is being put to the right use. So when they started seeing this happening on social media, it was not, of course, marketing is always there, but then more importantly, it was to show that the donors who are giving, the food is going to the right place and to the needy. And that's when a third person came in, and they said that they run an organization called Usikimye, which is in Soweto. They take care of sexual gender-based violence victims. So we started the third program over there. So at the moment now, again, we started there with about 200 children. We are now feeding every Tuesday and Thursday about 600 children with a cup of uji every morning. And every Wednesday and Friday, almost about 1,200 children. So that way we have a couple of our donors who have now been consistent. So every week they would give us a particular amount of ration, and based on that now we would do the feeding. We now moved on to Korogosho, where we are currently doing about 300 children. We have started only about a month ago, and another one we started in Kawangware 2 weeks ago, and in Kibagare. So there we are feeding roughly about 250 children. So the whole idea, we have grown from the time we started during the days of COVID, which was about 200 children. At the moment, all these slum areas, if I put together, we are feeding about 6,500 children every week.
He says the feeding program is a bridge to other sustainability programs.
The feeding program is all about how we connect and have the bridge between us and the slum children or the parents. So now we would go, and when we are doing the feeding, somebody would come to us and say, this is the problem we have. So now it happens that what is that form of sustainability we can give them so that they don't need to rely on the food. And this is how we would have approached donors. Some would give us sewing machines, some would give us maybe even a popcorn machine, some would give us other forms of help. When we started doing all this, we got a lot of feedback on whether this thing is really working or not. So some of the few success stories that I could perhaps reiterate is, there was a time about a year ago when one person, when we were feeding, came up and said, I want to ride a bike. I know how to ride a bike, but can you help me? So obviously I could not buy a bike, but I told him, why don't you come and help, and I'll spread the word and see if somebody could help. Now coincidentally, from some other places, he came and somebody managed to get him a bike just from somewhere else. So one day he came here and told me, Praveen, I have a bike. Now can you help me? So I said, what do you do? So he said, I'm doing boda boda and trying to earn a living, but of course that will not happen every day. So I connected him to my wife who runs a business, and all the deliveries are done through him. So him being honest enough during the feeding program to help me, to help the kids, to make sure all the kids are standing in line before they get their food, and that way I found him to be honest enough. My friend, what he did was he managed to get a bike, and he got the bike on hire purchase. So now 1 year down the road, he is able to pay his daily installment and at least earn some living from the money that he earns from the deliveries that he does. Another case scenario is whereby in Soweto we used to have a lot of sexual gender-based violence cases. So the chief in that area, when she came and saw that we are doing the feeding with Usikimye, About 8 months after the feeding program was happening continuously, one fine day we were just talking, and she came up and said, Praveen, do you know that we used to have about 20 to 30 cases reported every day of some husband beating up the wife. Why? Because there's no food on the table. The COVID has impacted the jobs. He doesn't have a job, the wife doesn't have a job, and the wife would come in the night saying, I need food for the children, and the first thing is to be beaten up and the kids and the wife sent out of the house or like that. So with the feeding program in Soweto happening on Tuesday and Thursday with a cup of uji, and Wednesdays and Fridays with a hot meal, at least one meal they've managed to get. And almost 60 to 70% of the cases in the last 2 years dropped in Soweto because the food has been given to them.
The program has had its own fair share of challenges.
Of course, that challenge is always there, because if we have cooked food for 100, or maybe in our case we've cooked for 500 children, and then 15-20 turn up, then we would just assess how many children are there. So of course reduce the portion a bit, and that way maybe the cup of uji is slightly smaller, or or the food we give it a smaller portion, so at least everybody gets. But our aim is always that the children get first. The biggest challenge again we had was, where do we cook the food? So I would really like to thank our my friend in the South Sea Gurudwara, the temple, because through his committee we get hot meals cooked every Friday and Saturday, and they cook for us free of cost. They don't charge us, we provide the ration, but they would of course provide their facilities of the kitchen and the workers, and so they will cook for us, and that is all on donation, and we really thank them for that. A similar thing happened when the Lions Club Huru, when they came and they learnt about this, so they said that we would be able to assist you. So in High Reach Primary they have a feeding program that goes on every day, and so every Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday they cook for us at the High Reach Primary. And again, I really thank them, because they don't charge us for the cooking. We would provide the ration, and they will cook for us. And the biggest thing now, as things move about, it is important to realize that it is a team effort. So the donors are kind enough to bring in the ration. Because it's my passion, I would ensure that the food is cooked and kept ready. So the people who are on ground, I have told them that it's your responsibility to ensure the kids who are coming are the needy kids, and it is your responsibility to ensure, whether it's in South Sea or in Parklands, you come and pick your food on time. It shouldn't be that the food is ready by noon and you are coming to pick the food at 4 o'clock. So your job is to ensure that by noon you have come and picked your food. Children's responsibility is, if it's a cup of uji, they need to come with a cup. If it's a hot meal, then they need to come with a plate and a spoon. So if you don't come with that, you don't get a meal. So kids are quite amazing, they are quite resourceful. So when you are doing when you are serving, you'll find a small plate, a white plate, a green plate, a broken plate, or if it's a cup of uji, you'll find a small cup, a big mug, or a small mug. Or sometimes the thing that really touched me was, I would find a kid coming with a tomato sauce bottle so that he can be filled with uji. So that is the resourcefulness of children in the slums, that as long as they are getting, they will ensure that they come with something to drink, in. So and it's quite amazing, and you get to learn also quite a bit.
As it is, the program's success is attributed to a number of people.
I'm not more that I have helped, it is more that the donors, when we spread out a case, say that, look, this is the help that we need. We have so many people. Kenyans are very loving, no matter what we think, but in all fronts, Kenyans are very loving people, and once you spread out the word, it is amazing how somebody somewhere would want to help, but they just don't know how or where or what to do. So when they hear such cases, they would come and easily give out. Sometimes now I get calls of people saying, look, I have old clothes. If you are going somewhere and you need them, feel free to pick them. Somebody will call me and say, look, I want to give a bale of unga. Do you need one? And I would say, yes, come and drop it, and we will see how best we can feed and how best we can help. So this is how we are now trying and seeing how best we can help the slum children in Nairobi. COVID has really impacted the lives of so many people in a bad way, but sometimes it is something small that we can do that can make a big impact in the lives of people whom you don't even know. We are slowly coming up with new projects. As we move around, sometimes we see a lot of old grandmothers and old grandfathers who are in the slum in a small room. They are sitting in a bed, they are sleeping in a bed which is infested with bugs, and they don't have food. So slowly by slowly, the next project we are coming up with is taking a packed lunch for the grandmother or the grandfather and ensure that they have a decent meal. We also are planning on more different ways on how we can help in terms of feeding. And more importantly is all this is not possible without the help of the donors. The real thanks goes to all the donors who are helping in this. And I have some who say, Praveen, don't take my name. Here is the stuff. Please make sure it goes to the right people, but my name should not be taken. Others we always acknowledge, and whenever we put in our social media platform, we always try and ensure that we say a big thank you to the donors, whoever the person is.
Praveen now views life with a difference as opposed to back then when he took most of the things for granted.
It's not always a success story from their end. It is also a learning for us, because sometimes we take things for granted. The food that is on our table, our children would take it for granted that they are getting chips, burgers, pizzas, and or even the meal that we have every day. It is very, very important to thank God that whatever God is giving us, we should be thankful for it and not take that thing for granted, not only as adults, but also to teach our children that the food that they are getting is very, very important, and they should not assume and take it for granted. And sometimes you would find some children saying that, oh, I want a burger today and I want a pizza today and I'm not going to eat ugali and sukuma wiki today and all that. But here is a child in the slum where the only meal that he's getting is just a plate of beans and rice, or maybe a small plate of githeri. And that is also only the day that we have taken the food. Otherwise, the rest of the days he's just fending for himself, and whatever best he could get is what he's going to eat. Previously, I would worry, oh, I have this problem, what am I going to do? How will I tackle it? And what is the way forward? And I would really get depressed. But then over time, I've learned that helping the slum children, and if they are able to put a smile on their face and they play and they run around and all that, then I have so many things much more to be thankful about. And so what I do is every morning when I wake up, I say this is going to be the best day of my life. So if you have said the same thing yesterday and you are saying the same thing today and you say the same thing tomorrow, then every day is the best day of your life. Charity begins from home. So what I have done is, of course, I first and foremost would want to thank my wife, because without her support, all this would not be possible. She does get scared when I say I'm going in the Kibera slums or Soweto slums, but then the people she has met, she knows the slums are really not bad as they sound. Yes, there are problems, there are thieves in the slums and everything, but then with the right kind of people, there is really not much to be afraid of.
The same values he's learnt in life, Praveen is passing on to his children.
I also take my kids for in the slums, because what happens is when they have their birthdays, yes, the party at home with their friends is always there, but I ensure that either in that week or the weekend of their birthday week, I take them to the slum and I make sure that they feed the children in the slums and they sing a birthday song for them, so that the slum children, when they are singing a happy birthday song for my sons, my son would appreciate what he's giving. It is a learning for him as well, and in that way, when he's serving, he appreciates whatever we are giving to them. And I would request and say to all Kenyans that it is always good to teach your children also, start at a young age and teach them the importance of giving, because you never know how that will help them to mold their lives to becoming a better person as they grow.
Hunger is a problem that has plagued humanity for years. Therefore, getting a meal daily is something we should be grateful for and support such wonderful programs to remain effective.
To all the Kenyans and to everyone watching this video, if you want to reach out, my social media Facebook page is Praveen R Chauhan. My Instagram profile is also the same. Hoping to start a YouTube channel very soon with all the work that I do under the same name. If you want to reach out to my number, it's +254 721 348454. And I know I love Kenya, and let's make Kenya a better place than it already is at the moment. And I know we can make a big impact in the whole world